Day 2 of the Diddy trial has wrapped, and the focus today was really on the prosecution's star witness, Cassandra Ventura, known as Cassie. She is the former partner of Sean Combs. When she took the stand, she explained to the jury her view on the relationship, saying that it was violent and controlling. She told the jury that sometimes she would just look at Sean Combs the wrong way and then he would hit her in the face. She told the jury she was 22 years old when he first introduced the idea of freak-offs to her, those sex, drug-fueled experiences. She said that the idea of them made her stomach churn.
Diddy's world is collapsing, and what went on behind closed doors will blow your mind. Explosive testimonies, secret parties, and thousands of hours of hidden surveillance reveal a darker side nobody talks about. Cassie Ventura's shocking courtroom revelations could change everything, and the verdict is only the beginning. Watch closely, because everything you thought you knew is about to be exposed. You won't believe the secrets hidden behind Diddy's private life, and what the feds uncovered is far stranger than anything reported. Thousands of hours of surveillance footage reveal shocking moments, but the courtroom only saw the tip of the iceberg. Federal raids were carried out at multiple addresses connected to Diddy.
In the final hour of Cassie Ventura's dramatic testimony, she revealed this afternoon that she received $10 million in the form of a settlement from the hotel where the 2016 attack took place. This was the first time that we are learning of this. This is on top of the $20 million civil settlement that she received from Mr. Combs. She broke down again today on the stand. She was asked how she felt when Sean beat her, when he got physical with her, often during these freak-offs. She said worthless, like dirt, and said that she tried to say no to him and tried to make it known that she was not interested in these encounters anymore, but she said that she was, quote, worried for her safety, worried about her career. Cassie was up on the stand and she was asked if it's fair to say if Diddy and her shaped each other. While she said yes on the stand, Mr. Combs nodded his head. I'm not sure that there was a more pivotal moment for me in terms of this first 5 days. And I got the sense that it's not over in terms of how much they still do impact each other. That is the last time that we will hear from Miss Ventura, who testified over the course of 4 days here. We're gonna hear from singer Dawn Richard, formerly of Danity Kane.
Authorities allegedly collected thousands of hours of surveillance footage, some of which captured highly controversial private moments. Yet, prosecutors presented only limited evidence, focusing mainly on Cassie Ventura and another woman identified as Jane. This raised eyebrows because many wondered, were these the only women involved in all those recordings? Or is there more we haven't seen? Skepticism immediately arose, especially considering the scale of the investigation. Some observers compared it to the Epstein case, wondering if the government held back critical evidence to protect other parties. Cassie Ventura initiated the investigation by the Southern District through her lawsuit and courtroom testimony.
You all saw the video, the surveillance footage from that 2016 hotel incident that our team at CNN first revealed to the world. And we now have heard from her, the first time directly from her mouth, what she alleges happened. Cassie says that there was a freak-off happening in the hotel room with Diddy and a male escort. She alleges that Diddy hit her during the freak-off, so that is when she gathered her things and she fled the room. She was trying to leave the hotel. That is when Diddy came out in his towel and socks, and that is when he beat her. Cassie says that afterwards she hopped in an Uber. She had a black eye and a busted lip. The jury was actually shown photos of that busted lip. It was very swollen, very clearly swollen. She was wearing sunglasses, so you couldn't see the black eye, but she said the reason she wore sunglasses was to cover that black eye. So she leaves the hotel, she gets in an Uber, she goes to her apartment. She says that at her apartment, one of her female friends was there, saw her face, saw this black eye, saw her busted lip, and said, oh my gosh, I'm calling the police. She actually calls the police. The police come to Cassie's apartment, and Cassie speaks with the police. This is brand new information that we did not know about in any way, shape, or form before. So Cassie speaks to the police. She says what happened, but ultimately she does not say Diddy's name. Why? Cassie explained that she didn't want to ruin his life, essentially. She said, I know who he was, indicating he's very famous, and if she said something like this, it would all be over for him.
She made a massive demand from Diddy for everything she endured, forcing him into a legal corner he couldn't easily escape. Diddy, also known as Sean Combs, now stands as a convicted felon of 2 federal crimes. The jury found him guilty on 2 counts under the Mann Act, which involves transportation of individuals for illicit purposes. Originally, prosecutors claimed Diddy ran a 20-year criminal enterprise, controlling multiple women and employees. However, the jury rejected the broader conspiracy allegations, narrowing the conviction to the 2 Mann Act counts. The maximum penalty is 10 years per count, potentially totaling 20 years in prison. Yet, sentencing guidelines take other factors into account, like criminal history, which in Diddy's case is minimal. Because this is his first conviction, he falls under the lowest guideline column. The final sentence will depend heavily on which zone prosecutors argue he belongs in, and how the judge weighs all circumstances. I will take you inside the courtroom, showing exactly what evidence, testimonies, and secrets shaped this shocking case. Behind the glitz and glamour, Diddy's world was far darker than most imagined, and the courtroom revealed shocking details that left even seasoned observers stunned. What happened at those so-called freak-offs paints a chilling picture of control, pressure, and chaos. Prosecutors allege Diddy led a group of employees who pressured women, including Cassie Ventura and another woman identified as Jane, into parties known as freak-offs, or hotel nights. These events weren't just lavish parties. They were orchestrated environments where women felt they had little choice but to participate. One adult entertainer testified about his introduction to drugs at the hands of Cassie and Diddy. Cassie initially offered him a pill, with Diddy standing nearby. Hesitant at first, he eventually tried it after feeling comfortable with them. Within an hour, he felt jittery, shaky, and excessively chatty. Diddy reportedly told him, "Yo, I think you need a break. I'm gonna pay you a little something. Go get something to eat." After leaving, the entertainer fell violently ill, vomiting and delirious in the streets. He later walked from Trump's Columbus Circle to Union Square, disoriented and sick, reflecting, "They just looked at us as pie they could use whenever they wanted." Cassie also testified about being pressured into freak-offs. She admitted she was afraid to refuse because Diddy controlled her career and finances, and she recalled multiple instances of violence. The jury was shown surveillance footage from 2016, released by CNN in May 2024, capturing Diddy physically assaulting Cassie. Despite her earlier $30 million settlement, her defense argued she had no financial incentive. She was there solely to tell the truth. Cassie's connection to Diddy began when she was just 18 to 19 years old. Their relationship became official at her 21st birthday party, reportedly attended by Britney Spears, and witnesses recalled Diddy openly joking about his exploits with her. Diddy pleaded not guilty to all charges, setting the stage for one of the most closely watched defense strategies in recent history.
Cassie Ventura, officially done for the day, officially done with her testimony. She is expected to give birth any day now, according to her attorney. One of the big things that just came out is that she said she would give the $20 million settlement back. Cassie Ventura said she would give that $20 million settlement back if she never had to do freak-offs again. That was one point where she really started crying. Oh, something happened. Oh, wait, this is her husband. Hold on, her husband's coming right now. Let's see what's happening.
Are you happy it's over? How did your wife hook up?
Oh, that was Alex Fine. Like I said, they are leaving the courthouse. Her testimony is over. Their attorney just made a statement saying they're putting this chapter behind them. They don't ever plan to speak about it again.
What happened next would challenge the prosecution's narrative and leave viewers questioning everything they thought they knew. Diddy's defense argued that everything in question was fully consensual between adults. They claimed the women were only speaking out to gain money, not to expose wrongdoing. The legal team further emphasized that Mann Act convictions in this context were unprecedented and unconstitutional. They argued that the law doesn't require proof of coercion, threats, or fraud. Diddy had merely paid adult entertainers, which isn't trafficking. Defense attorney Alexander Shapiro wrote, "This conviction stands alone."
We do have breaking news of the verdict that has now been reached in the criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The jury delivering a mixed verdict, acquitting him of the most serious charges that carried life in prison that he was facing. Lee Waldman is outside the courthouse in Manhattan with the latest.
The jury in the federal trial of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs has come to a verdict. Guilty on the charge of transportation to engage in prostitution, but not guilty of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. The jury, made up of 8 men and 4 women, heard from 34 witnesses called by the prosecution, including 2 of Combs' former girlfriends, Cassie Ventura, and a woman testifying under the alias Jane. Both women testified Combs forced them to engage in sexual encounters referred to as freak-offs.
But it should not stand at all. He also claimed that the videos shown during the trial were personal, creative content, protected under free speech laws. Lawyers repeatedly stated prosecutors unfairly painted Diddy as a violent villain. During closing arguments, they acknowledged past instances of violence in relationships, but noted most incidents dated back to 2018 or earlier, with only one more recent altercation involving Jane. The defense highlighted that Diddy had already been attending domestic violence counseling in New York prior to his arrest. They argued that treatment programs, therapy, and rehabilitation would be far more appropriate than an extended prison sentence. In a bold bail motion, Diddy's team requested $50 million bail, co-signed by 3 financially responsible individuals.
Well, Diddy is upping his offer to the government. He wants out of jail right now. You know that he is still behind bars at Brooklyn MDC while he is awaiting his sentence in October. But right after he was sentenced, they tried to get out on bail. They made an offer. They said, we'd like for him to be released on $1 million bail. The judge shut that down. So now it's like he's playing Let's Make a Deal, right? How about this, Your Honor? What if we offer a $50 million bail package? The money has gone up, but the reason that he thinks he should get out is because he says what he's convicted of were non-violent offenses.
They proposed strict conditions, travel limited to New York and Florida, surrender of his passport, home detention with ankle monitoring, substance abuse treatment, mental health therapy, and private security. However, the judge previously denied bail, citing concerns over public safety and letters from Cassie Ventura expressing fear if Diddy were released. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The courtroom revelations sent shockwaves through the media and left the public questioning just how much remained hidden. The scope of federal raids and thousands of hours of surveillance footage sparked speculation that the prosecution may have withheld critical evidence. Critics questioned whether authorities truly revealed the full extent of what they uncovered. Jaguar Wright added fuel to the fire, highlighting that Diddy paid Cassie $20 million within 24 hours of her lawsuit, suggesting it wasn't merely kindness, but possibly guilt. Wright claimed that many details shared during the trial were far worse than the public realized. Meanwhile, Diddy's defense framed him as a swinger, hosting private parties, not a trafficker, attempting to shift the narrative entirely. Witnesses painted a different picture, saying the parties involved multiple men and women, creating far more complex and pressured environments than simple consensual encounters. There were also allegations that Diddy threatened women with releasing private videos if they didn't comply with his demands. Questions arose about other celebrities who might have been involved, but were never named in court. Comparisons were made to R. Kelly, who was convicted on RICO charges. Critics argued Diddy had far more resources and yet avoided broader charges. Other disturbing parallels emerged during the trial period. R. Kelly allegedly faced an attempted poisoning in jail, while Tory Lanez was stabbed on the first day of Diddy's trial. Jaguar Wright emphasized the chilling message these events sent. They make you an example. It's intimidation. Can't go to authorities. They're all bought and paid for. Speculation grew that other influential names might be protected, much like the Epstein case, leaving many unanswered questions about who really pulled the strings behind the scenes. As Diddy's sentencing date looms, October 3rd, 2025, the world watches with bated breath. With a maximum exposure of 20 years, every move in and out of the courtroom is under intense scrutiny, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Diddy has been held in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center since September 2024, awaiting the outcome of a case that has captivated millions. Former President Donald Trump weighed in, calling Diddy sort of half innocent, acknowledging their past friendship, but noting Diddy turned hostile when Trump ran for office. Regarding a potential pardon, Trump stated, "It makes it more difficult, more likely a no for Combs." He also highlighted Diddy's past parties at Trump Tower, possibly including freak-offs, and mentioned R. Kelly's association with the location. Shadows of Jeffrey Epstein continue to loom.
Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know, he didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. It's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So, I don't know, I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Trump's Department of Justice has faced criticism for failing to release more details about Epstein's 2019 death. Mark Epstein, Jeffrey's brother, alleges his sibling was murdered and claims Epstein had knowledge of critical information about the 2016 election candidates, including Trump and Clinton. Speculation swirls. Could Diddy attempt to leverage political connections, or even seek a pardon if Trump were to return to office? Yet Cassie Ventura and other alleged victims have expressed deep concerns for their safety if Diddy were released, underscoring the human stakes behind the headlines. The real questions remain. Will Diddy serve his prison sentence? Will previously hidden evidence ever emerge, possibly reshaping the narrative? Or will this case, much like Epstein's, remain shrouded in secrecy, leaving the public only fragments of the full story? With Diddy's sentencing looming, whispers of hidden evidence, and political intrigue swirling, the fallout could reshape everything we thought we knew. Cassie and other alleged victims remain on edge while the public waits for shocking courtroom revelations. The next twists, secrets, and unexpected developments could completely upend the narrative, exposing hidden truths, courtroom drama, and revelations that might change the entire story forever.